Hello there everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes roster review. So we've got an interesting one here again. I feel like I've been flooded with a few lately. We've got ReactZzz of Prepare. Now, I think it would be quite safe to say that this is the biggest account I've ever done in a roster review, so we're going to actually have a bit of fun just looking through this, because there's a point when I'm doing these and I think, do you actually need my help? So we'll have a look, we'll see how you're getting on, and if anything we can just flex what you've got. So let's have a look. So as far as what you've got everything as far as I can tell, at least as far as meta tunes go. You've got a 5-star Executor. I don't know if you're free to play or pay to play based on what you've told me so far, but how I look at it, 5-star Executor is nothing to be, shoddy about. I mean, I know plenty of people in both of my shard chats who've got 4 and 5 stars still, and they're getting on just fine. So for me, 5-star exec, nothing to, be worried about there. As far as all your other tunes, all of them are 7-star. I haven't got a picture for it still, but you got BAM as well, obviously for Razor Crest. So a lot of good stuff, So let's actually have a quick look and just see what's going on here. Your GP, this is where it gets interesting for you folks. 7.971 million. So yeah, quite a big account. I mean, you're a good couple of million ahead of Temin, let's say that. Top 80, 2.444 million. Top 65, 2.068 million. And fleet GP of 3.191 million. For just interesting personal context, that means your fleet GP is almost 1 million bigger than my baby account's entire GP. So yeah, little things I love to notice. Zetas, you've got 167, and you've got 122 gear 13s. So when we see these spread out, we've got 11 gear at Rallycats. I didn't see a Rallyc 9 on the list. You've got 27 Rallyc 7s, 3 Rallyc 6s, 40 Rallyc 5s, and 41 Rallyc 4 or below. That to me screams you've got 8 CPET teams. That's how I'm looking at it anyway, and I'm not even taking into account your Rallyc 6, 7s and 8s there. So I'm looking at that and thinking you've taken certain tunes to Rallyc 5 for CPET. We'll have a look at that as we go into it, but I am liking what I'm seeing already just on the numbers side. Then as far as mods, you've got 15 25 pluses, you've got 46 20 pluses, and 141 15 pluses. And this time I've managed to get my graphic right, and I've got it that you've got 7 offense mods between 4 and 6%, and you've got 2 that are 6% or higher. Actually, I'm saying that it could be 7 that are between 4 and 6 or beyond 6. I'll have to double check my stats there, but either way, you're doing quite good on the offense. I don't think I've seen anyone actually with 2 6 pluses. Even when I've looked at some YouTubers, like I had a look at Zareth recently just by chance, and he's only got 1. So yeah, you're doing good there. So nice play, nice one. All right, let's have a look at your actual roster though. We're going to do what I've said before. We're going to go faction by faction. We're going to just see how you're setting up for GA as far as what teams you've got, what you can use, and just going to see if there is room for improvement anyway, because with respect, you're just shy of 8 million, but that does not mean that you've got everything. I mean, I assume the only way you'd have everything is 10 mil, so yeah, there's still some room to improvement, I suspect. So let's see where that is. Okay, so everyone folks, the only thing that we're missing on the front page is an alt on Love Vader. We'll come back to that in a moment, but I just think, okay, that's just one thing worth bringing up in the sense of a little bit unlucky. I think maybe if I'd done this a week or 2 later, you'd have had it, so yeah, we'll just scroll down the factions for now. Okay, so Fiverr first. Only Rallycats you've got there are the Love Vader requirements. Makes sense. You didn't need Rex at Rallyc 7, so that again makes sense. Echo and 5s for Cam, I'm going to assume. Ahsoka for the JMK team. So a lot of stuff here makes sense. Let's just have a quick scroll through, just see what your mod sets are like. You've got crit damage and crit chance. So this looks like a very offensive gas. I don't exactly know what his best uses in the JMK team as far as modding. It looks like you've got some half-decent damage on him. What I would say, if it's anything like a JML team, he would become a target, but saying that it isn't, is it? Now I'm thinking about it, because Cat and GK are the targets in the JMK team. Gas is kind of just there. So maybe not as important with the modding as far as needing to go defensive, so offense makes sense. I'm going to have a look through the rest of your roster, but if you've got Cam, you may not even need him in your arena, well, what would be your arena team. But yeah, let's have a look. So, 5s. Defense, health, potency. Okay. Potency's not one I would be expecting, I'll be honest. Health. I've got Cam in mind. I don't know if you've built for something else, but if it was for Cam, that'd be a bit low. If you switch mods, then of course that makes sense. Protection. 83k is pretty good, to be honest. You haven't modded for damage as far as the sacrifice, so nothing to see there. Okay. Curious what your 5s is there for, or, you know, like what you've actually gone for. If it is just a general mod set, or if you do remod for Cam, I'm curious. I've got Cam in my mind right now. I think it's because I'm building clones, and yeah, I've just got those numbers fixated in my head a little bit. Okay, so Arc Trooper, a little bit slow. Speed, oh, sorry, damage. Okay, that looks very nice. So I would say you've gone for a slow arc to try and get more damage on. I say, ooh, crit avoidance. So that does to me look like Cam. I know crit avoidance can be very useful in that event. So yeah, interesting. Wasn't expecting crit avoidance now, I'll admit, but I was expecting speed, if anything. But again, maybe you try and keep him alive. Yeah, I would definitely say that's Cam related. Echo. Physical offense 6,518. Special 9,750. They look good to me. I haven't memorized these numbers. I'll hold my hands up, but they look good. Then Rex, simply put, what's the speed? 270. To me, that's a little slow. I think you could, just in general, if you can get him higher. But again, we've got a massive roster to look through here, so maybe it's a case if you just can't delegate mods. So take some of these thoughts with a pinch of salt as far as maybe the speed is elsewhere. Okay, Bad Batch. Okay, so like a lot of people, Omega's been left on your sidelines. I have brought this up recently on a live stream, and I did bring it up just in chats elsewhere. Omega could become an interesting tune as far as GL requirements. It would be worth getting it to 7-star and maybe just touching the Rallycats up a bit. It all depends what happens with her moving forward, but when you think, we've got her in the Bad Batch, but I would not be surprised to see her connected to Ahsoka, for the simple reason they did, in the show we have had Omega meet to Hera, and it wouldn't be a surprise if there isn't some very loose connection that the devs try and do that sort of strings maybe a GL Ahsoka to Omega. So it's a loose one, I'm not going to deny that, but maybe if you were thinking, is it worth at least taking it to 7-star and getting that aspect ready, you know, could be worth at least considering taking her. You know, if you get her to Rallic and it's a case of, well, she isn't going to get a GL requirement, then you just leave her at Rallic 1 and you haven't got to worry about it. Or maybe Rallic 5 so you got a full set for CPIT. But yeah, for me personally, I'm thinking it does seem possible that she'll be a GL rec somewhere, but yeah, I don't think a lot of people are really biting on that idea right now. Anyway, Echo, what have you got him at? 288. That's not bad considering you've not got a lot of speed on him. I mean, personally I was thinking maybe 300 plus would be achievable here. So yeah, I think you've essentially just put what mod you've got on, haven't you? Yeah, you've got an 18 still. I wish I could just slap an 18 on someone, but yeah, 9, 5, and 4. So, not with respect, I don't believe these would be your best mods. I wouldn't expect them to be, but yeah, I think you've still made him fast enough so that if you do put Bad Batch down, someone can't just take in a really slow team. So, that's fair enough. Wrecker, you've gone triple tenacity and triple defense, not something I personally like. I've said it multiple times, I don't like uneven mod sets. But let's just see what your stats are looking like. Fair chunk of protection. I'm not entirely sure about tenacity on him in general. Have you got tenacity primary? Yeah. Okay, I need a quick look at his kit briefly here. Because I'd be thinking you'd mod for max health and protection. But maybe I'm missing something. Again, maybe there's a connection to another event. Well, hang on here. Yeah, all clone trooper allies gain defense up and tenacity up for 2 turns. So, how I'd view it, that should be enough to avoid needing the tenacity mod sets. Yeah, just on a simple basis, I'm not exactly buying into tenacity being needed. I think you could afford to go all out health, protection, or even just plain out defense. But, yeah, that's just one that I would disagree on. Go on, I very rarely get to look at well built Bad Batch, so I just want to nosy how I've got them modded. 233 speed, not the fastest, but saying that, I suspect you don't really need it. If Echo gets first turn, Days goes out, so it's not that hard from there. Potency, I kind of get. My thought is that he has 20% potency for each of his own stacks, so with what you've got, that really seems like overkill. I mean, it'll certainly get through any tenacity up, you'd have thought, but maybe I'm just over-egging it a little. Interesting. Not bad by any stretch, but I'm just curious what you're really feeling tech needs to be that potent for. Again, you might have a plan. Let's move on. Your bounty hunters. We've got a rough idea how they're looking. Yeah, all GL and exec requirements there. So, Aura. I like seeing Aura up there. I think that's a nice one as far as she's a good bounty hunter lead. Mando and Grief, I feel like they are lagging behind. I don't know if they're a current project or just something that you've not got round to, but I know personally, I'm looking at them thinking, yeah, Grief especially, I feel like he's just such a key cog in keeping the bounty hunters alive, so with so many in the game as well, it wouldn't hurt to, you know, invest in the faction a little bit more. I mean, on my main, and I'll admit I'm struggling to remember this as I'm saying it, I've tried to theorycraft 2 teams. I've got an Omicron on Zam, so there is that to take into account. You know, assume you were to get one moving forward at some point. But you can end up having one where Bosk, Zam, I think I might have done Boba, Django and Dengar have one team, and then it's something like Aura, Mando, Grief, IG and Embo get their own team again. I'm kind of spitballing this from memory. Oh, hang on, that was it. I forgot Fennec. Fennec was in the first team, so probably Dengar missed out. But just the idea being that you can get such quick contracts now with Fennec that you can afford to put Mando and Grief in their own team to sort of just get an instant annihilate, especially with Aura lead. So that might be one to think about at some point, because as well, I did neglect this, Django could be the one who drops out for Fennec for the simple reason Django is so versatile. So, yeah, I mean, I really don't like pushing people to farm things, but I feel like the bounty hunters are becoming really important. And when you consider that Fennec, she's on the same node as Sith Marauder's ship, the Sith Bomber, you think that ship's going to become more important. So it's like the devs were kind of nudging people in that direction with that placement. But I don't know. Maybe we're just reading into things a little bit. But yeah, if I was just to advise, I would say Fennec, you know, she's going to be important one way or another, so we'll give her some attention. Grief, I feel he really needs attention. Mando, if you can get him to gear 13 as well, great. Aura, I'm assuming you guys are doing well on C-Pit in your guild, but Aura, she does okay, I believe, in phase 2 and 3, so it wouldn't hurt to give her a bit of attention. So yeah, I'm kind of encouraging you to build them all up except Greedo. Poor Greedo. Let's just have a quick look. Okay, I did say this last time to Nox Eternal. When you've got Rallycats, I do feel sorry for them when they've not got 6Es, and what I will say, because I'm aware Nox is listening to this, I do believe that they should be 6E. What I'm going to say is you have got a lot of 6E mods. Let me just bring up the stat because I didn't show that earlier. Okay, so last time Nox Eternal had 136 6-dot mods. Compared to yourself, you have got 213. So I wouldn't say double, but you've certainly got an advantage over Nox. And I was saying it is GP level, it is 6-dot mod level. He should be trying to 6E his Rallycats. Now, you have got a lot of them, but so had he, and I do stand by that point. A Rallycat is a high investment, and for me, they do deserve the 6E mods, at minimum. You know, we're not saying 6As, you know, putting your best mods, but I think when you're modding, try and prioritise it, especially with someone like Boba who's got a ship. I mean, Slave 1 might not be your first reinforcement by any stretch, but you think to yourself, when the ship is in your fleet, it may as well be well modded, so that if it does come in on defense, it's doing something. So that'd be my advice. I'm looking here again, you've got uneven mod sets, 2 crit damage, 2 crit chance and 2 health. I'm not personally a fan of that because you're not making the most of that. So some things to work on for sure there. 238 speed, Boba doesn't need a lot, so that's okay. Crit damage, like I say, you're losing out for not having a full set. Damage is respectable. 8,229. Saying that though, a lot of that is coming from relics, so maybe a bit more could be done via modding. If you just go into your mods, you've got offense percent and primary there, but defense primary, naughty. Speed, not a lot else helping Boba there. Crit damage, we got a touch of speed. Okay, if you were to go crit damage health, that could still be an okay mod. You would have to roll, but it could still come good. You've got 14 here with a bit of offense, that looks good. Speed, offense, okay. And speed, yeah. So I feel like Boba needs work. I think I am going to stand by that fact. It's one where I know for myself I'm going to have to hold myself to the same standard as well. But I feel like at the even if you can't get 6E across the board, you should be at least trying to dot your 6Es in, or making them priorities to. Because when you think, the Rallycats are the biggest investment in the game, because people aren't really using Rallycat 9 right now. You've obviously got the odd one who's whaled on it. You might have the, I don't know at the time of recording if the top guilds have got Rallycat 9 from TW yet. But whichever way, Rallycat 9 is scarce. So you think to yourself, Rallycats are still pretty much the top of the game. And yeah, I will stand by that argument. They do deserve the best attention from modding. So we've got Django here. Again, I kind of encourage 6Es here as well, but I kind of get it if it isn't a priority. Again, maybe you just did him for JMK. 268, that's respectable. You can get 298 from his lead, so it's not bad. You got some half decent damage on him. So yeah, Django looks okay. Offense, crit chance, preferably crit damage, but not the worst. Speed, yeah, good. And you've got health on the primary. With Django, remember, he gets 50% max health via his unique. It might not seem a lot, but if you can flood health into his secondaries, or even his primaries if you haven't got one lined up, then it just boosts his survivability. It just means that especially like if you're going to get health steal, let me just check his stats here. Health steal, 25%. If you're trying to take out a Django, the last thing you want is when he hits you, he's taking 25% health back. And if he's got a lot of health, it means you've got to chew through a lot to actually make benefit of it. So, yeah, I would argue it. Keep touching the health in. It doesn't have to be a priority, but it's one of those where once you've got your crit damage in, or you've got your offense in, just try and get them bits of health in. Okay, Bosky boy. Okay, a bit of speed. Actually, let me go back to that. A bit of speed, tenacity, good. Alright, speed, Health, defense, defense, nice. We got obviously defense, we got speed, protection, protection. Health is a bonus. Defense, that'd be nice. Ooh, speed isn't worth the roll. Yeah, I was just about to say it and then I saw the speed, so nice mod in principle, just maybe not in this situation. Those 3 stats though, very nice. Health, speed, probably the weakest mod out of the group here. Defense is okay. Tenacity primary, great. Speed, protection. Health isn't priority, but still it's okay. What we're looking at, 281. Okay, 261 protection. That doesn't feel right. How I look at it, Bosk should have more protection than health. Simple reason. I know tenacity is important, but when you think he gains 50% from his lead, he gains 50% max protection from his lead as well. Plus he gains defense while at full health. So I look at it and I think if we can avoid him going into his health, he's gaining 100% defense. And if he's got high protection pool, then he's less likely to go below that health line and lose the defense. So that's how I look at it when I'm modding him. And I wouldn't say you've gone terrible, but I would switch, say, for a protection primary there. Like I said, that was probably the weakest mod out of your group. With that in mind, you could probably switch to a protection primary here as well, just to bump him up. And yeah, you can afford the speed arrow, so you weren't a million miles away there. I would just say if you could afford to, switch in the defense primaries. And so tenacity isn't bad. I mean, again, 115 tenacity with the 50% bonus, it will make sure he's hard to debuff, but equally, you don't need to go overkill on it. It's not like someone like Nest who can do stuff on her own. You know, Bosk will always be in a team. So yeah, you don't need to go crazy on the tenacity. Just give him enough so that, you know, he's likely to resist a debuff. Again, that's where grief comes in handy as well. You have a cleanse just in case he does get debuffed. Okay, Zam. Speed, 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 double potency. I'm liking the mod set. 254, not the fastest Zam I've seen, but still, without the Omicron, it's not really worth worrying too much about her. I do like Zam's kit just for the fact that she's a fast bounty hunter if modded to be fast. So it does mean that she can get some early turns, get some debuffs out if you're using Django lead. So I wouldn't rule her out. She's a very useful toon at ReactZzz 7, but equally you may need to Zeta at least to get some more benefit. The Omicron as well will really boost that bounty hunter team that you put her in. So not a lot else to say on the bounty hunters. I feel like I've spoken enough there, but interesting faction. And interesting what you've done with them. Okay, Empire. So, Lord Vader. Let's see how you're getting on with him. Okay, so that is interesting. I mean, I'm chuckling to myself because I haven't got a Lord Vader. I've known maybe 2 or 3 people who've got one. And I haven't really discussed the modding because it's a little irrelevant to me. What I do know about Lord Vader's kit, however, is that he converts his protection into health like Malik. So I wouldn't say you're wrong, game modding, but I am curious what the process is, because if I remember right, it's the idea that he takes that for his health, so you essentially just join the numbers together. But then a part of Vader's kit does essentially multiply the health, I think. So you get bonuses from that total health. So there's a benefit to having a max health pool as well as a health pool as well as a protection pool. So I'll be honest, I cannot remember where in his kit that kicks in. And I'd be spending a good couple of minutes reading through the kit to find it. But I do believe what I'm seeing is correct. The speed looks good. Potency maybe could have a touch up just to make sure he's landing those dots consistently, but again, maybe that improves with mastery. So yeah, my inclination is this looks good, but I will also bow out here with a lack of knowledge. Okay, at this point, I am thinking to myself, what do I want to look at? Because there's so many things I look at normally. So let's check your Thrawn. How are you speeding him? 273, that feels quite slow. Even if Thrawn's lost a bit of relevance with his fracture not being as good against GLs, he's still a great toon, so if you can game up to 300, I think that'd be worthwhile for yourself. If anything as well, it might just make people think, alright, is Thrawn could do this against my whatever toon. So getting to 300, it's probably a healthy goal for Thrawn. Gideon, how have you got him? A little surprised he's only rallied 3. I'd have thought you'd have got him to 5 for CPIP. 297. That does feel a bit slow as well. I'm thinking... I'm aware you've got 6 GLs here. Again, I need to repeat it. If I am saying something slow, I'm not saying that you haven't got good mods elsewhere. I'm just saying what I'm seeing looks slow. Because, yeah, I know I can get mine up to 350. So I'm thinking... Is it just that you haven't got the mod spare? If that's the case, I do get it again. But, yeah, just mildly curious. Because Gideon's just one of them toons that I feel like maybe a bit more so now than Thrawn. He can... Let me just double check this with control situation. Yeah, he can actually still outshoot a Galactic Legend. There's nothing in there that says... Well, okay, maybe not outshoot, but... If Gideon can take a turn after a GL, he can then knock the GL's turn meter down still. So he has got usefulness in all game modes, in my opinion. Yeah, I think he's worth a bit more than what you've given him, let's say that. Dark, you've got him 7-star. I'm guessing you're just waiting for that gear piece. Again, one of those tunes that's worth taking to Rallic, I'm sure you know, so no point prattling on there. Royal Guard. I have not looked at many Royal Guards. How have you got this one modded? Not a lot there. I was expecting a chunky bit of protection, or at least a bit more there in general, but saying that you've only got yours at Rally 3, so it's not like you've gone all the way to, say, 7 to get a little Vader variant ready. So, yeah, okay. Let's go down a bit. Let's have a look at your Murder Bears. Relevant ones at Gear 12. No Zetas, although maybe you got Chirper. I'm guessing you got Chirper. Yeah, so the Omicrons are adding it. First Order. Rallycats on SLKR. No other luxury investments, so again, I'll move down. Okay, JMK. Now, another one I haven't got, but one I'm going for. Now, bonus protection in the kit, so it makes sense to mod for health. Speed, I think 554 is reasonable. I'm pretty certain I've seen faster, but I think 554 would probably do you some good. Potency, tenacity, I think, yeah, they're just there. He was almost there before modding. So, yeah, I think after that it's just damage, isn't it? I mean, this is, well, it was your arena team, so I'm looking and thinking, have you started spreading your mods around for Grand Arena? Because I'm just looking at, say, there are 17, and I'm thinking, I bet if you wanted, you could get a higher mod. So, yeah, you got me interested. I am guessing you've switched, but maybe not. Let's have a look at your cat. I don't think I've looked at many cats. We've got 354 speed, that looks good. Does she deal special damage, or... Yeah, special on the second special, and special on basic, so yeah. 8,367. It seems good. Again, I've not got a cat of my own, or a Commander Ahsoka, I should say, considering I've got Pussycats in the room with me. But yeah, I'm thinking that does look good, but then again, I am not a Commander Ahsoka expert. Shaq, let's see what you're rocking on her. 304. That looks pretty reasonable. Again, I've got like the general numbers I remember from Cam in my mind. 315's the goal. So again, I don't know if you demod or anything like that, but 304, you're not a million miles away regardless. What else we got here? You got Qui-Gon, you got Zeta, so I'm assuming you popped an Omicron. Yeah, you have. So the question I would be saying there, Galactic Republic, you have got Cam. 7-star, congratulations there. You've got Zeta as well, so you'll be able to do a Cam team with Jedi Council. So there's this bit of me that is thinking you probably got there, or I did the roster review, sorry, a little bit early. Just, what, 7 gear pieces away from Rallyc? Cool. So yeah, apologies for that, because I did rob you of a little bit of bragging rights there. But I would still say 7-star is worth a good brag. So congratulations to you and your guild for getting there. But yeah, this is one where I would like to see it a little down the line. If you just give me a nudge somehow, I'll have a look at how you've got him. Alright, Geos, I may have missed something there. If I did, I do apologise. I'm just wary of runtime as well here. Alright, well, Rallyc, you look pretty menacing. Ooh, you're missing a mod there though, so I will back out and just save your blushes. Imperial Troopers we've already looked at, so let's go Jedi. What's your JML like? I didn't look at your SLKR as well, I'll double back for that. Ooh, okay, you've got a different build than I would have thought. Does that mean you plan to use JML with Bastila? Because that is a lot of health on JML. Considering his attacks are protection based, or at least if you use the lead they are, then that health pool seems very high compared to the protection. If you're using Bastila lead, you can then get away with it because JML gains protection up based on the health pool, but yeah, if you're going for JML lead, that protection is quite low. I mean, I'd say you're looking close to 80k for protection. I mean, when you think Rallycs, you can get close, sorry, Rallyc 8 and 9, you can get close to 100k. So, yeah, that feels low. Speed looks good, I'm not going to knock that. You really didn't need the tenacity. I mean, maybe it'll help a bit if you come up against, say, I'm trying to think who it'd be. It wouldn't be C. SLKR, well no, SLKR is easy. Yeah, I suppose it's just JMK battles if you were trying to use them as a counter there and you just didn't want to get dazed as much, but... yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. I'm going to be honest, I can't really think why you'd want so much tenacity, so... yeah, teeny wee bit confused there. I wouldn't personally go defense primary there. I know he's a tank, but... when you think, he is as much an attacker in some ways. He obviously taunts, but... once you get the ult off, sorry... Jedi allies gain critical chance up and critical damage up for 2 turns, and they gain 35% offense. That turns that team into a crazy powerhouse. I mean, whenever I use JML on Arena, I'm usually just funneling attacks through JML, just for the simple fact at that point, he is just hitting for... he's just crazy with efflux. So, maybe I'm just... maybe I'm just feeling my own personal feel on this character, but you look here, deal 10% more damage and for each ally with Lessons or Legacy, so at that point you've all got Legacy in the ult, so you're gaining more damage on the AoE. I just look at things like that and I'm going, it is worth treating him like a quasi-attacker, but I certainly don't feel you need tenacity on him. I mean, again, you got 28 speed, maybe that's why. You've not gone for a full mod set, so you've got tenacity and potency just sort of sitting there. I mean, I will stand by that. I've said it repeatedly during my videos. I do like full mod sets, because yes, you gain the full speed there. I completely back that. But you're not getting a tenacity benefit, you're not getting a potency benefit, and honestly, if you could get 2 defense mods there, you'd be boosting your protection up a little. Because how I view JML, it doesn't always need to be that quick. I mean, I've got mine, I think about 540, I think. I might be a little out there. And yeah, I don't ever feel like I'm in danger with it. You know, because if JMKs go quicker than me, then I have a certain strategy to actually get past them if they're faster. I'll leave a link to the video in the top right corner that I'm referring to. But yeah, I think If it's C, you don't really need speed, you know, because you go and get tank tech on JML anyway because he needs to taunt. So yeah, I don't really see a need for speed, but again, maybe you can counter it. Maybe your guild have got ideas that do say, yeah, make sure your JMLs are speedy. So let me know. I'm going to say I would rather be countered than just be banging my fist on the table saying, I know best, I know best. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Okay. What else we got here? JKL, what have you built him like? Ooh, you've gone for a fast one, okay. 259 is a fast JKL. I think mine is about 190. So you might struggle to use his lead in GA, but as far as using him under JML, you should be fine. Offense, a little bit shy again. I think you could probably get 13k offense if you modded for it. So I suppose it all depends what your purpose for him is. If you want him to be under JML, that's more than fine. If you want him to be under, if you want the option of using his lead, it's a little sketchy. Just for simple reason, he's not going to reduce them by that much by comparison. So, eh. Let's see. Jolie's sticking out to me. I do like my Jolies. Yeah, this could do with some work. Rallycat 2. I'm of the opinion that Jolie's one of the safer Rallycat 7s, just for the fact that his mastery just feeds into what you want for him. Crit avoidance, health, resistance. All three of them are great. Then, when you're looking at the stats, I always go for tenacity. It doesn't make sense to some people because they say, oh, but he gets 100% tenacity from his unique. In addition, at the start of battle, he gains bonus critical avoidance equal to half of his tenacity. So in a JKR comp, if you go and use him against, say, a General Grievous to do a clean counter there, maybe you don't need that because it's a bad batch, but just using this as an example, then it's the idea that when Grievous is trying his best to get a crit on Jolie, kill the team, he can just tank it a little bit longer, especially if you've got a nice health pool with the tenacity. So honestly, that's the way I like to build it. So I have, on my alt account where my Jolie's Rallycat 7, I have a full tenacity mod set. Crit avoidance on the arrow, tenacity on the cross, health on the triangle and circle. I recommend it to anyone who's got a Rallycat Jolie. If you've got high Rallycat Jolie especially, if it's low like this one, maybe you can afford to mix health mod sets with tenacity mod sets. But yeah, I really do advise going, at least investing in tenacity, because that crit avoidance can really come back and help. Okay, so from here, I feel like we're in a good place. Again, Cam, I feel like I've come too early. I feel like there's an innuendo there I don't intend to do. But yeah, I feel like, say I'd come back in a fortnight, I imagine Cam would have been a bit further along, so I apologise for that. I would have liked to have had a proper look. Your Mandos. Now, this is again something I'm not overly familiar with. I feel like you've got a lot of things in your roster I don't know a lot about, so again, I feel like I'm flexing it as much as showing it off. Well, as far as commenting on it, but we've got Maul here. If I'm right, you need offense and health, so speed is interesting. Maybe I'm wrong though, because again, you've got him on the Lord Vader, so protection would then feed back into health. 1000 damage. Is it special or physical? Physical. Okay, so that's not bad. Again, I can't say with certainty I know enough here. I would say the protection makes sense for Lord Vader. I would say the speed makes sense there. But yeah, after that, I'm kind of flummoxed. So let's just back out of there for a minute. How fast is your armourer? 268. Not the quickest I've seen. Wouldn't say you always need armourer to be fast, but what I would say, some of the counter teams to GLs that involve the armourer, you could do with it being reasonably quick. Again, Thrawn's another part of that I've seen. It's generally a 1-2 between Thrawn and the armourer. Armourer takes a turn, gets a stack of Beskar ingots via a second special. Thrawn takes a turn, passes a turn back to the Armourer, and Armourer puts ingots on either C or SLKR. That's the general gist of what I've seen. But you may not need that because you've got all 6 GLs. It depends if you want options though, because again we're thinking of GA in mind, and yeah, I would say you've got a nice armourer here. Rally 5, yeah, you've got a nice armourer where you can say, alright, maybe I'm going to put 3 GLs on defense, 3 for offense, and if the guy who I'm facing has got 4 on defense, I've got a GL counter up my sleeve. So that may be a way you can think. But you would need more speed. That I feel confident on. You'd need to be in the 300s very comfortably. Okay, so from here, how have you modded bow? Offense and crit chance. Not a lot of speed. Potency's one I've thought about. I haven't got to Rallycat yet myself, but I've said to myself I like the idea of her being potent so that when she does crippling strike, she can land those daisies a bit more consistently. I get people's opinions on bow. She's not the most exciting of characters, but I think she's got good stuff in her kit, and I think potency is one of those things that you might need on her. So I would suggest maybe offense and potency, or speed and potency, but that is just my personal opinion. Right, Beskar, I kind of proved last time I didn't know too much about Beskar, so I'm going to just leave him there. Night Sisters. Okay, so you've got the key 3 up. Zombie, I would argue you could leave at 12. Same with Acolyte. And Spirit you should take to Rallyc at one point, but I'm guessing with the gear it's not a priority. Zombie isn't bad at Rallyc by any means, but I think if Zombie's dying off, it feeds Daca a bit more, so it's not bad leaving her at 12. Acolyte, if you want to use Acolyte in a GA team, you would need her at Rallyc just to survive AoEs. But to be honest, at that point she might just die anyway, so it's a judgment call there. But let's have a look at your Daca. Okay, we don't need speed there. You got 2 choices, crit avoidance or health. If I'm right, crit avoidance leads into a mastery, so does health, so you've got win-win either way there. But yeah, either of them are probably better than speed, because when you think, serve again, whenever another ally is defeated, Daca gains 50% turn meter. So yeah, adding to that, oh, it's the revived ally, sorry, I was reading a little on then, I was like, is there more? But yeah, bottom line, she gains half turn meter when an ally dies, so if Zombie's doing her job right, Daca will be gaining TM just fine without speed. Let's have a look at the rest here. Sorry, triangle, you got health, no health secondaries though. You don't need protection, so health primaries again. Speed, yeah, I'd really focus on the health. Daca is all about health, so you're doing okay there. Bit of health there. Double health there, that's good. Could do maybe a bit of speed there, but let's see what your total is. 90k health, so you're not doing bad considering I would say you've got room to improve here. So yeah, not a lot of speed in total either at 221, so if you could just maybe shift your mods around so that the arrow will probably need speed to compensate for the speed arrow you lost. But if you can just shift around a few of those and maybe get some more health in the secondaries, keep some speed in there so she's not an absolute snail, then you'll probably be fine. But yeah, crit avoidance, honestly, I think crit avoidance is going to become really important down the line. Again, it's probably not something that's obvious right now, but I think Rallyc 9 has hinted at it with the idea of just improving tanks, and I think it just makes sense that crit avoidance will become a naturally good mod set to start using on certain toons. Okay. I am skipping over these two, but I think they are pretty simple as far as what you need. I mean, crit damage, potency, they make sense. 209 speed, you don't really need much. Potency, just a touch again. Yeah, I'm alright with that myself. And Talzin, a little bit slow again, but again they gain TM through I believe it's Daca, if they're revived anyway. Yeah, 30 speed from the Great Mother. So yeah, you don't desperately need speed sets here, but yeah, I'm just looking at it. It should be fine, that. Alright, Old Republic, I'm going to skip over them because I think the majority we cover in other factions. Rebels. Okay, so CLS at Ral at 4, Chewie and Han at 6, 3PO and Chewie at 5. Ooh, now that's one I wanted to see for a long time. Someone who's been and invested in Stormtrooper Han. What have you got him up to? Ooh, 100k health, I like that. Okay. 181 speed, a little bit slow, but I think he does gain TM from certain bits of his kit. I might be wrong. Hang on, that's it, he removes TM. You've got Zeta, so he will recover health and protection when he takes damage. Oh no, it recovers 5% protection, has a 25% chance to remove 10% turn meter for each enemy when he is damaged. Okay. Han taunts for 3 turns and all other allies gain 30% turn meter. Okay, I could have sworn he got more TM in there. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, if you are planning to use him... if you plan to use him where you need him to taunt, he's a little slow. I think it would take him a while to get to that turn to get the taunt up. But if you're using purely in, say, a nuke team where you've got 4 Seppies who can all stealth and Han's there just granting them all TM, that should work fine. It all depends what his purpose is. By the way, Zeta Leia, I feel like I'm one of the few people who've got one, so nice to meet you. Really helped in the JKL event, JML event. It's not like it made or break, it's not as if it make or breaked it. How'd you say that without? Oh, never mind. I'm going to get bogged down on that. But yeah, it's still nice seeing a Zeta Leia. It was fun in that event to be able to make some use of it. Okay, just looking down here though, your Rebel fighters look a little bit weak. Yeah, you've only got 3 at Relic, got 2 Gear 12s. That tells me as well that your Rebel pilots aren't good for your Rebel fleet. So yeah, room to improve there. The best Rebel fighter fleet, the best Rebel fighter team. Obviously, Mon Mothma lead, but then you've got Pow, so you'll need a Zeta there. Cara, Biston will probably get pushed out by Kyle Katarn soon, and then Hot Rebel Scout. So, it's one of those where I'm looking and I'm thinking you do need to work on them ideally. At your GP level, you could do working on them. They aren't like a make or break team, but I know if I had an account around your GP and I saw your Rebel fighters, for starters, I'd be thinking you can only put 3 actual Rebel fighters in at Rallic. So I'd be thinking you're going to sub in someone like Captain Han or 3PO and Chewie into that team. And if that's the case, I wouldn't take it that seriously, to be honest. I'd think something like Trey could take it out quite comfortably. Maybe even Imperial Troopers. Whereas you get someone like Cara built up, she counters Empire. And you've got POW, HRS providing turn meter to the team constantly, so get them good, they can be a real monster. And then Kyle Katarn, he's just going to break them to a degree. So yeah, Biston, I like him now, but I think Kyle Katarn will be the permanent 5th soon. So yeah, maybe when Kyle's farmable, that would be a time to start working on him. It all depends what you're actually planning to work on, because I do believe I didn't have any notes for you. Let me just double check my actual notes here. Yeah, the only thing I had for you was that you were farming Lord Vader at the time, so you've done well. But yeah, that would be what I'd be saying now. Rebel fighters could just do with a bit of love. In general, your Rebel pilots could. I mean, Biston and SRP, they aren't an easy farm as far as gear, but they are worth it for their ship. They turn that Rebel fleet from a C to B team fleet to an A to A star fleet. So, by all means, I would not sleep on Biston and SRP. Yeah, there's so many good Rebel fighters. I mean, Cassian and K2, I've just taken them to Rallic on my main account, and I think to myself, of 3v3 GAC, Mon, Cassian, K2, hopefully that I can take out some GGs. So, again, I feel like I'm repeating myself. Try not to sleep on them. Resistance. Yeah, I envy this. I would love to have a resistance faction like this. Finn. Again, teeny a bit slow, 282. 315, I believe, is the goal to have a good Finn. So, could do gain some more speed into him. That seems to be something I'm saying a lot right now. So, I am curious where your speed is. I might have to have a deep dive into your mods and just see. I can do it on the main screen at the end. But, have you got your Ray? Okay, that's a lot of health. The offense looks good, so I would say that looks like a good Ray myself. I mean, speed's slow, but you don't really need a fast Ray. Ray's job really is to just tank enough shots to keep getting damage, well, to take the first damage immunity and then nuke the team. So, yeah, easy peasy, good modding. As far as I know, there's no one else here I really want to look at. I don't think there's anyone here who screams, look at me. So, move along. Who do we want to look at round here? Ooh, we got L3 at gear 12. That's nice to see. I'm going to say L3 is one of those that I keep wanting to work on, but I've just got no time to get round to her team. So, nice one. But yeah, I feel like a few of these after this we've seen. It's like IG, Queel. They could obviously do some stuff with BAM, so maybe want to work on one day. Again, I wouldn't put them higher than Rebel Fighters, but something to think on. Dash is obviously given the Prepared Squad some functionality, so again, another one to keep in mind. Seppies, yeah, I'd have been surprised if any of these weren't Rallycats at this point. Yeah, to be honest, there's only a few things I want to just check. Grievous. 151, bang on the money. Did you use crit damage? No, you went for health. Again, if you can afford to find a crit damage primary, get some health in the secondaries, keep the 150k target, that would be then great modding. By that, I do mean this is still like an A grade. It's a high pass. But if you get that crit damage, A-star flying, passing with flying colours. Dooku. Rallycat. I envy this. I would love a Dooku this big. It seems weird, but I like Dooku's kit. 273 speed. Yeah, I think considering where he is in the priority list for tunes, it makes sense. Me personally, I like him faster, but I haven't got half of your tunes, so that makes sense. Potency. It doesn't hurt. I was saying this last time, I think potency, I think he does have a fair amount of things that help him avoid things. I mean, it's like it can't be countered or evaded here, so yeah, there's things that make me think you don't really need a lot of potency. Force lightning, let me check that. This attack has a 50% chance to shock and stun another random enemy, doubled if the target is Galactic Republic, so in situations like that, it's case use as far as if you're using it on offense, take it in against GR. If not, then, well, you're really going to struggle to get the potency anyway because it's 50%. So, yeah, maybe you wouldn't really benefit from offense, but maybe tenacity, just so he isn't getting debuffed all the time and he can keep using these abilities. You don't want days on him as well. After that, I think they're the key headlines from that faction. Let's go to your Sith. So I've already touched on the fact that Sith Eternal Emperor I don't really know a lot about. Health and speed, they're pretty much the only two things I know. Ooh, you haven't gone for speed though. Okay, I'm curious what your thoughts are there. Yeah, that really feels like a very small Sith Eternal Emperor. You've gone for a protection primary. Okay. Well, I'm going to put a shout out into the chat here. Well, I say the chat, I feel like I'm doing a live stream when I say that, but a shout out into the comment section. First of all, feel free to tell me yourself what you're thinking here, because again, I don't know much about Sith Eternal Emperor, but I feel like speed, he's the one GL that really needs speed. Whereas you've gone heavy on protection. So I can't help but think if you got a certain counter in mind, because that's not one I'm familiar with. But yeah, you've called me out there. I'll be honest, you've called me out. Your DR, let's have a look at that. 300. Again, so many toons in your roster. I kind of get that. Be nice if he was bigger, but I kind of get it. Okay, 283 speed, shy of 100k protection, not 100% tenacity. Rallycats could help you with the protection, but yeah, not the biggest Malik I've seen. A Padme team could probably take that out. So that is, I mean, granted, again, at your GP level, Padme's probably been torn apart by JMK and Qui-Gon now. But if Padme was an option, that would be able to counter it. So could do with maybe a bit of love. I mean, speed isn't bad. You've got the protection. Could do with something else in there, though, like tenacity, really. Or a protection percentage stat. Here we've got defense. I've never seen Mallet Moddy for defense. Really, protection would make sense here. You've got the protection there, but it's only 1.5%, so you could get 24. So it's definitely worth going for the primary. Again, defense, I'm not really seeing that. So yeah, I think protection percentage if you weren't going to go for the protection primary, but yeah, I would be thinking protection primary or tenacity primary at that. And then protection primary, that's good. Speed, yeah, your Mallet could do with a bit of work. Okay, BSF 271, so not too surprised considering where Darth Revan was there. So yeah, we're pretty much at the end now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the top. I'm neglecting your fleet a little bit. I'll try and remind myself to touch back on that in a second. I didn't look at SLKR, so let's just have a quick look at that. Gone offense and health. 499 speed. I've had mine that slow. It can work, so I'm not going to say that's wrong or anything. Although at that point I'd be expecting 13k offense. So yeah, have you got Rallycat? You have. So yeah, 13k offense at Rallycat for me is like a must. So yeah, a little bit surprised at that, especially with the speed arrow. That means you've flooded your secondaries with low speed. Yeah, maybe roll that. Maybe. I wouldn't really advise rolling the 11 to 12, but you could possibly benefit. Yeah, that's unlucky. I'll say unlucky. I'm guessing maybe you were at green or blue and you got 15, you thought a couple more rolls and it just kept rolling crit chance. Yeah, you got all you could there. You've still got a few there, so that's worth rolling. But yeah, a little bit of work there. Just touch the offense secondaries up a bit. But yeah, just to sort of recap what I'm thinking. And I'm just going to quickly go on Google because I want to just verify what the devs said about Grand Arena. Okay, so in your league, in Kyber League, I'm pretty sure your Kyber League 1, you need to place 11 squads and 2 fleets. Okay, so it's obviously going to rotate each round. You've got your GL squads. I don't feel like we're in a place now where we can put all GLs on defense. I mean, there was a point when, like the last couple of seasons, I thought maybe it's viable and you can just try and outscore someone on defense. But yeah, I don't think you can afford to play that. I think people need to play a bit more offensive with how the changes have come along. So what I would say is, out of your 6 GLs, and I'm just mulling this over as I'm thinking it, Rey, I would say, is still a solid defense GL. As far as she isn't fantastic, but if you put Cat with her, she can be something that takes up a big team. or a big GL. You would then mean you'd have to use JMK on offense most likely, or either that you'd have to do some team like maybe JMK, Ahsoka. If Cam was bigger, I'd suggest that, but you might want to put him with Qui-Gon. Maybe you could do JMK Bad Batch. You got options, but maybe put JMK on offense and use him to attack what you've got. Sith Eternal Emperor, Skylo, JML, they're pretty much offensive GLs. As far as defense, there are some good counters. Maybe you get the ult in time, you could put Lord Vader on defense. So yeah, you got options. You could either put JMK with something like Bad Batch down on defense, so you could save it for offense and see what happens. But Rey definitely seems like the solid one for defense. Rey with Cat and whatever scoundrel she can muster together. I mean, if we just go to your scoundrel faction again, if you did, I'm just thinking this through. If you did Rey, Cat, Stormtrooper Han, Captain Han, and this way, if you got L3, it'd be a much easier solution. Did you have Vandor as well? Vandor's down there. So Vandor's one you could work on for that Rey team. It's the whole idea though that she's got synergy with scoundrels, so you can make the most of that, and then Rey's just essentially going to just feed off any revives and all that lot. So I do feel like that's an option for you to have a relatively solid GA defense team. Lord Vader, when he's got his ultimate, he should be solid. It would take a pretty good GL to take him down. And then JMK, you're thinking... Again, I've got Bad Batch in my mind. I feel like that would probably be a good place for them. The alternative would be JMK, Padme. Yeah, you're really going off weird scraps then, because you don't want to take away the gas fiver first. You want to leave some Jedi for, say, JML. So yeah, it gets very awkward. It's why the Bad Batch just sort of scream out to me. You could even do the clones, but then gas would maybe have to go with JML. Yeah, I'm kind of fixated on your GLs here as far as how you want to use them. You've probably got a plan of your own. I'm just thinking it through based on what I'm seeing. Again, this is if I didn't have a GA history to look at, I'd be thinking this through myself. So I'm looking and thinking, you've got bounty hunters. They need a bit of work as far as modding, but you've actually got teams you can put down. You've got resistance scraps that you can maybe use on offense, again, to take down the likes of bounty hunters. The Galactic Republic faction, when it's torn apart by JMK, is a bit of an issue. I'll say JMK, it's also Qui-Gon Jinn as well. First Order scraps, you can do stuff with that. If you wanted to try and use SLKR as a solo opportunity on offense, you could. You've got droids, they're pretty solid still on GA defense. I'm just trying to think. I think there was a character that came out recently that was hard GG counter. Maybe it was Dash or Kyle. I don't think it was Talon. You got your rebels up to a good standard, so your rebels could still do some good work. Yeah, I'm looking and thinking there aren't a lot of weak spots. The key one for me was your rebel fighters. I thought, considering again, I look at your GP level because it's kind of like a barometer for where you can be, and I'm thinking your fighters just look a little bit further behind where they should be. But everything else, I didn't see any glaring mistakes. I mean, your Geos are good. Geos are a solid counter against nuke teams, obviously. Imperial Troopers, they need a bit of work. I think you recognise that because you're working on Dark Trooper. Death as well is a good option. But yeah, you got Mandos. I'll be honest, I don't know enough about the Maul team, so I know it's up there as far as top 10, but I don't know enough to suggest counters. So honestly, if I see that one time, I'm going to have to do some research fast. Night Sisters, they could still do some solid work against the likes of Grievous. I keep bringing him up as if he's the hardest thing in GA, but honestly, if you haven't got a Grievous counter, it's a nightmare. But yeah, I do think you've got a lot of good options. I'm curious what you're thinking. I'm going to leave it there. I mean, ships, I didn't really touch on it, but yeah, you've got everything. I think I'd be doing you a disservice to say you hadn't. I really do feel you could do working on Atbar and the Rebel fleet. I've kind of hinted at that with the Rebel fighters. Executor, good luck on getting your stars. I'm assuming you're crystal hoarding right now. You've even got Emperor Shuttle, so out of curiosity, how is your Empire fleet? A little bit behind with the Gauntlet. Gauntlet's one of those that is a pain to farm. I say that I've got no intention of farming it soon, but I can understand why people would go for it. It's handy fleet ship in an Empire fleet. So maybe one of those you can sort of, you know, if you're feeling dangerous one day, say, right, I'm going to gear up Gar Saxon. But I don't disrespect anyone who says no. But yeah, I've been talking for a while now. I feel like these roster reviews just come down to me talking. So 1 hour and 7 minutes I've been recording. I think that's enough. So all I've got really to add is thank you for giving me this roster to look at, because it has been interesting. It's not saying any of the others I've looked at haven't been, but it's certainly been the most filled out roster I've seen. So I'm curious what your plans are, because you've finished Lil Vader. I've given my advice that I think the Rebel Fighters would be a next good hunting ground, or maybe finishing off the Bounty Hunters. But besides that, I don't think there's much else that you need to set really hard focus on. So I am curious where your next stop is. But anyone else watching, leave a comment, say what you thought about what I've said, what can be worked on. Comments are always welcome, same as likes. Other than that, thanks for being here. Stay tuned for next week's roster review. Bye for now, everyone.